Expected to seek out the best. 2 words to describe the activity.
The Yoruba Unity Forum is conducted.
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west, and around Africa. We break the news. Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV Primetime
News, a 24-hour news station.
It's a beautiful Tuesday morning here in Lagos. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Core Digest, where we bring you in-depth review and analysis of stories as they break in Nigeria. The days keep flying. It looks as if time really doesn't wait for anyone. You better get started. In fact, I find it hard to kickstart the show at 9 o'clock this morning. It talks about how fast the time really is running. We rarely do apologize for that. But let's kickstart in a jiffy. And we're starting with this good news coming from the European Union mission to Nigeria. There are a lot of international observers now. March 28, of course, many are hopeful will be a reality that INEC wouldn't have to reschedule again. But then another thing Nigerians and indeed political stakeholders must bear in mind is the fact that the whole world, the whole eyes of the world is on Nigeria. The European Union Election Observation Mission has held the position of President Goodluck Jonathan on the May 29 handover date. You recall that Mr. President in the particular media chat says that the May 29 handover date is sacrosanct and that even if he loses election, he is ready to let go of power. Chief election observer of the mission, Santiago Fias, described this as a good move in the aftermath of the postponement of the elections by 6 weeks. Fias, who spoke with State House correspondents after meeting with President Goodluck Jonathan at the presidential villa, said that he was impressed with the commitment of both sides to the electoral process. He says also that he met with the presidential candidate of the APC twice and Mr. President to exchange views as regards the election. There's a video that I'm going to bring your way, I believe, tomorrow. And it's exactly what transpired between Mr. President and the APC presidential candidate on January 14. I mean, it was fantastic. Both of them all in smiles, hugging each other. It was amazing, the kind of exchange of pleasantries that was experienced on that particular day. You also see Mr. President slapping the APC chairman on the shoulder. And I believe that that particular moment is that inspiration that every single electorate in Nigeria needs to see over and over again. And also bear in mind that after all deed is done, after March 28 thereabout, you would not be amazed that you'll find all of these political stakeholders across our political lines back again in a single room. At that time, the cameras might not be there. But then what happens to many people who have been maimed, killed in the process? The bottom line is that none of these people are worth dying for. And indeed, Nigerians must make a resolution to go for a peaceful and violence-free election. Let's find out what's happening in Ekiti. It looks as if it's good news all the way for the governor of that state, as the appeal court sitting in Abuja has yet again upheld the judgments of Election Petition Tribunal, which returned Governor Ayodele Fayose and affirmed him as elected governor and winner of the June 21 gubernatorial election in that state. Of course, the tribunal had on December 19, 2014 upheld Fayose's victory and dismissed the petitions of the All Progressives Congress. In delivering judgment on the appeal, Justice Abdul Aboki held that the previous impeachment of the governor, his alleged forged certificate, cannot nullify his election. The appeal court, however, faulted the deployment of soldiers on election duty. All the counsel on the suit also bear their minds to journalists on the judgment.
The appellant and the appellant miserably failed to discharge that elementary burden of proof. Not only that, their lordships equally confirmed as a fact that this so-called alleged forgery of HND certificate had actually been resolved in an earlier case, in the case of AD against Fayose. In other words, that case raises what we call issue estoppel against the appellant. So hook, line, and sinker, Governor Fayose has been vindicated by this judgment. So as regards what their lordship said on the soldiers, that was by the way. It doesn't go to the root of this appeal. The main issue is impeachment a disqualifying factor? No. Did they prove forgery of certificate? No. The court held it so. And to that extent, we are delighted, we are excited about this judgment just delivered. In other words, the mandate of the people in Ekiti State, freely and voluntarily bestowed on Governor Fayose, has been upheld, it has been vindicated. All is well that ends well.
The court has delivered its judgment, and we commended them because it was an erudite decision, even though it is not every aspect that favored the appellant. But there are certain aspects which are fundamentally important to our democracy. For instance, they have declared as a legal deployment of military to conduct an election. They don't have any rule under the Constitution. They do not have any rule under even the Armed Forces Act. Therefore, that's a landmark to say in future elections the army should not be deployed. Although we would have expected the court to go further to say, having found that the military was present everywhere during the conduct of election in Ekiti State, to have gone further to declare that election null and void. Nobody ought to have been a return winner of that election. But all the same, it was a commendable decision.
Our position has been vindicated, and our position is very straightforward. It had been ab initio that soldiers should not be made part of any political permutations. Soldiers, by their training and convention, are apolitical. And that was our position at the tribunal. And the Court of Appeal has upheld that position, that it was right for the tribunal to expunge the soldiers. And that is our position. Soldiers should be left alone to face their professional duties, which is the protection of the territorial integrity of our nation.
So Fayose has won in all the local governments in Ekiti State. He won the election June 21. It looks as if he has won again, yet again, in the Court of Appeal. But what happens to the audio recording that came up a few weeks ago? Of course, the Ekiti State governor has also challenged the former governor of the state, Fayemi, to go to court. He looks as if he's confident. He's won several times. Looks as if probably he's got what it takes to win again. I think the big story today on the papers, if you care to check, would be the drama that transpired in Ogun State yesterday. But just before we go there, let's find out some security updates across the country this morning. Of course, good news from the Nigerian military as they say that troops have cleared Monguno and its environs of insurgents. Of course, defense headquarters said through its Twitter feeds that soldiers took over the town from Boko Haram after a coordinated air and land assault. It said that a number of insurgents operating around Baga were also captured during the military operation alongside truckloads of food and logistics. The military added that the land and air assault is still ongoing, with soldiers advancing to other locations and communities meant to be cleared. So it looks as if Mr. President's words have been matched with action here, because last week, while he was granting that particular interview, he was very decisive that 6 weeks would be enough. Might not totally strike out Boko Haram from Nigeria, but no doubt they will be able to recover the 14 local governments that are currently being captured by them. Well, back in Lagos, as the nation continues to fight hard insurgency in northeastern Nigeria, bearing in mind that that also constituted the major reason why elections that were earlier scheduled for February 14 was postponed. The Lagos State Governor has reiterated the call for the establishment of state police, and this has been in the front line for a long time, talking about domesticating security agencies across state lines. Of course, Fashola stated this while playing host to the Lagos commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Abafi Gabriel, at Alausa. He maintains that such remains the only way to guarantee effectiveness of the existing security agencies. He's also of the opinion that the move will allow state governments to make proper budgetary plans if they are allowed to create their own police force.
Is increasing every day, but we do so not because it's our responsibility, but it's our people who are affected. if those agencies don't function. But and this is why we continue to say, look, listen, why don't you just leave the states to create their own security apparatus and regulate it? Because the truth is that if we are actually funding all of this, if the state component of the civil defense is here, we are funding it, why don't they be the bulwark of the state police? And let each state then take ownership, full ownership, subject to the laws that regulate them, and say, okay, this is our own state police. That does not mean that the federal police, as you call them, your senior brothers, will cease to. It doesn't mean they will cease to exist.
Okay, you also recall that earlier the commandant says that he was in Fashila's office to seek the support of the state government to ensure the smooth operation of the corps. Well, ultimately, I think the bottom line is being able to have an independent security agency that is independent of political calculations, political domination, independent of the executive, if that is possible. Of course, we have a situation whereby many are already insinuating that most of the security agencies in Nigeria are just watchdogs, so to speak, for the executives. Yesterday, the former President Olusegun Obasanjo took to another dimension his disagreement with Mr. President, his political party, People's Democratic Party, when he came on television to tear his membership card of the People's Democratic Party. And what he's saying this time around is finally saying that he is departing from the People's Democratic Party. He spoke to newsmen in Abeokuta about his exit from the party. He tore his membership card as a practical demonstration of his exit from the PDP.
Orí àtẹ̀gùn PDP lè fi ṣe president lórí ìyẹn tí n bá fi PDP lẹ́bi ọ̀dọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ mi mọ̀ Nàìjíríà ni mo mọ̀ ṣe.
All right, he says that this time around he is going into full-time non-partisanship politics, and what it means is that he's not joining any other party. Well, if he won't be joining, the fact that he won't be joining other parties are also issues of concern to many interested Nigerians, many who obviously might have seen some affiliation or some partisanship in some of the comments that he has made. The fact that prior to this time he likened Mr. President to Laurent Gbagbo of Ivory Coast and also indicting the Nigerian military of supporting Mr. President in extending what he calls interim government. Of course, there are reactions also from the defense headquarters as regards that. But the bottom line here is, what exactly is the electoral value of the former President Olusegun Obasanjo, and also finding out the reactions from different quarters as regards these very, very new development. Many are also saying that, well, this is probably the worst kept secret in the political history of Nigeria. Of course, as a former elder statesman and a member of the PDP, has never been, especially recently, in support of the extension of, or perhaps the intention of Mr. President to run for a second term in office. He came out at a time to say that Mr. President had promised, had agreed not to go for a second term, and has also shown publicly a support for the APC presidential candidate. So with all of these developments, can we really say that the former president is non-partisan in his actions? Well, in a swift reaction to that, and this is what seems to capitalize, so to speak, the drama that transpired in Ogun State yesterday. The People's Democratic Party Ogun State chapter announced the expulsion of the former President Olusegun Obasanjo from the party. The PDP's announcement came few hours after the former president dramatically announced his exit from the PDP. His expulsion was announced by the state chairman of the party, Bayo Dayo.
Engaged in
by Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, the totality of the executive, leaders, and members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP family in Ogun State, hereby state categorically, as from today, Monday, 16th of February 2015, Olusegun Aremu Obasanjo stands expelled and excommunicated from the party, thereby losing all rights, previous privileges, and respect of our teaming party members. Must no longer be seen from the prism of a PDP leader. Indeed, he seems to have lost all sense of proper behavior expected of a man who previously used and abused the opportunity provided him by PDP.
There are lots more reactions coming from the fold of the People's Democratic Party. One of it is from another major chieftain of the party. The chairman of the Board of Trustees of the PDP, Tony Anene, says the party leadership will not miss former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He actually said that the presidential villa insists that it was within Obasanjo's right to leave the party. He also maintains that the party's fortunes will not be affected by the exit of the former president. But the much anticipated reaction would be from the PDP Presidential Campaign Organization that says that former President Olusegun Obasanjo has no moral justification for accusing President Goodluck Jonathan of planning to follow Laurent Gbagbo's footsteps. Now, this, it claims, is because the former president himself encouraged Gbagbo to perpetuate himself in power. You recall that the former president had earlier described the latest development in Nigeria as Gbagbo saga. This time around, Femi Fani-Kayode is saying that the former leader is only out to undermine the Jonathan administration for his selfish interest.
Again, it is ironic that President Obasanjo has accused President Jonathan of having a grand plan to stay in power at all costs and by all means. Yet, it is the same Obasanjo that tried to stay in power for a third term, even though the Nigerian constitution specifically forbade it. He tried all he could to change the constitution, but the whole thing failed and he was compelled to leave power. After Jonathan came to power, Obasanjo not only tried to control and teleguide him, but he also asked him to do a number of things that were simply wrong and unacceptable. It is for President Goodluck Jonathan himself to divulge those things, and I'm sure that he will do so at the appropriate time. Needless to say, President Jonathan refused to be teleguided and told what to do, even though at all times he showed Obasanjo maximum respect and accorded him all the privileges, access, and courtesies that is due to a former head of state and a father and mentor.
Looks like all eyes is on Baba this time because even the defense headquarters has also reacted to his earlier comment as referring to Mr. President walking in the path of the former Ivorian President Laurent Gbagbo. The DHQ, of course, the defense headquarters, is now saying that the former president is an embarrassment to the military. Of course, they made this comment in a statement posted on its Facebook page while reacting to a statement credited to the former president. The former president was accused of politicizing serious national security and military issues. And they are also saying that the world has moved beyond the mentality of the former president, insisting that the military personnel of today were better equipped in the area of training, education, exposure to having a better appreciation of democracy and its importance to national prosperity. All right, let's quickly go to Abuja, to a newsstand where Helen Chukwuweke met with some Abuja residents, found them actually debating on this issue. I'll be back shortly after that.
And at this moment, no news item is as big as the political battle between former President Obasanjo and the incumbent. This is the situation at a major newsstand in the FCT. Passerbys who may not be aware of the norm here may misinterpret the confusion, arguments, and near fights as serious. This row is over claims and counterclaims between former President Olusegun Obasanjo and the presidency.
Obasanjo himself is a very, very confused human being. You understand? It's just the problem that we're having right now in this country. He has ruled this country. Let him just go and relax like an elder statesman. Today he will tell us that Jonathan is the best president. Tomorrow he will tell us that Jonathan is the most corrupt president. You understand? And which is not the right thing to say as a leader.
With his statement, it shows that the present president, President Goodluck Jonathan, does not have the masses in mind.
There are also others who see the whole row as an elite conspiracy.
I remember a serial Vanguard newspapers published last year. You know, his daughter, Iyabo, was quoted as saying, "Daddy, you don't own Nigeria." You know, and so Obasanjo don't own Nigeria.
What is happening? I saw Obasanjo today tearing his national PDP membership card. Now, what does that signify? Does that give me food? As you see me now, if I'm thirsty, tearing of his membership, does it satisfy me? Has I seen Obasanjo before? I don't know what Obasanjo now. But many of the factions now will be killing themselves.
Obasanjo is wearing two faces. One, he remained in PDP. Now he's supporting APC. He's afraid just to be on the safer side in case Buhari wins. He could have given this power to Buhari when he was there. He didn't give it to him. Now he's asking somebody to do it. Buhari went to him almost 3 times in his house in Abeokuta and said, "This is my frustration. If truly you love APC, the camp, you have freedom of speech." He told Buhari clearly, "I'm a card-carrying member, yet he's supporting APC." You can see the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob.
Some of these people also have different positions on the political activities of President Jonathan and his mentor.
What Obasanjo is doing is virtually right, because he's an elder statesman. Despite the fact he's a member of PDP, he's an elder statesman who will everybody owe him a respect, whatever it is.
If Obasanjo is saying things that he feels that are not right, then there is law and order in this country. You should call Obasanjo to order if he thinks what Obasanjo is saying is not right than responding at the papers.
As the row between the two sides take a new twist with the decision of the former president to dump the party on whose platform he was twice elected president, it is certain that these issues will continue to dominate discourse at newsstands.
So the pause was like at that particular newsstand in Abuja. We have another version of that from Lagos State, and we're going to bring that to you in a minute. But I'm joined by a public affairs analyst, PRESIDOR GHOMORAI, joining us today live on Cold Digest. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
What exactly would you say are your reactions to the drama that ensued in Ogun State yesterday?
Some of us who are familiar with the terrain, I think it's the normal thing. It's unfortunate. Yeah, there was a time we had that some elder statesmen talk like motor parked out. I think we are revisiting issues just like that. Somebody we repose so much confidence and trust. Some of us work directly with Chief Obasanjo in 1999. I think I was part of the Obasanjo campaign organization in Ikeja, led by Chief Ogochukwu Yema, Chris Mama. We know what we experienced. Aftermath of him winning the primaries of PDP, we were all given assurance of being taken care of to a certain level. Surprisingly, the moment he got the ticket for PDP, He abandoned us. We normally converge at Ogolua House at Lausa. And we started seeing the sign, and after then, his comments, he's a revered leader, a father. But you see, sometimes some of us want to play God, and the result is what you are seeing.
Well, are you saying that the totality of what we're seeing is an individual trying to play God?
Yes.
Otherwise,
we have former heads of states.
This is the man who
we have
has
General
been...
Gowon. Some of us have come over here. If you're above 60, you should be able to know what you're talking about. I mean, I'm actively involved in Nigerian politics by virtue of what I do. I'm an activist, champion Nigeria cause, and I know a good number of our leaders don't talk like that. They don't. If you recall, so a couple of days back, he endorsed General Buhari, and he said, good, we have a choice. But suddenly again, in London, we watched him on TV. He was saying he never endorsed General Buhari. He's assessing the aspirants, the candidates, and they want to look at. I start wondering if, at my age, I start assessing people that I've been relaying with. We must give it to him. Good luck becoming the vice president was the handiwork of the same him. And it was because he was looking at people he would choose and put and then dictate to them. Unfortunately, he got it wrong. He got Yaradua, he came on board, and within the period, the man got to know him well. If you recall, it's in the papers, it's in the public domain. The Oba of Lagos said...
Just a minute, sir.
Yeah.
We're joined now by the Ogun State People's Democratic Party Chairman, Bayo Dayo. Good morning, sir. Thank you for finding time to join us on the show this morning. Good morning. All right, let's quickly have your reaction to what is now being called the drama that ensued in Ogun State yesterday. You recall that few hours after the former president tore his membership card in front of the camera, you came out also to announce the expulsion of the elder statesman. Is that a coincidence?
Well, actually, not starting last week. We got a letter already from OBASANJO's work in work event of Abeokuta North local government, telling us that he has been suspended in his work. The man himself of the telly, carrying the membership card of PDP, is not a member of PDP. He's never the one chairman of the party, as speculated. The man carrying the PDP card is an APC man. And doing that is very, very annoying. Well, you see, when you attend a school, and after graduation, you got a lot of jobs, and you did good things through the certificate you got in that school, you cannot, at the end of the day, start sharing your certificate because the school has done one thing or the other for you. It is not proper. It is not even legal for anybody to be destroying other people because that card belongs to PDP, and it is not good for anybody to share our people, particularly when the card is being done by a non-member of our party. It is very, very wrong.
Okay.
We are not happy about it. That is why we took the decision.
Okay. Are you stating clearly that the former president was expelled solely for that singular reason of tearing his membership card on national TV?
That is not a singular act. It is a very terrible act. You cannot be tearing a non-member of our party cannot be seen in camera tearing the property of our party without the consent of the owner of that card.
Okay.
And the party will just stand and be looking. We cannot be looking. Something drastic has to be done because that is a very drastic measure. And an honorable man, if he is a statesman as he calls himself, if he's truly a statesman, no statesman behaves like that. We have former president of Nigeria here in Nigeria. We know how they behave. I have never seen IDP in my life. But it's a man everybody respects so much. Everybody has a big regard for him. I have never seen many of them in real life. But we respect them a lot. Unlike somebody who wants to destroy everything, once he does not have hold of something, he wants that thing damaged. What that what it's all about.
This is a man.
I am not particularly happy. It is not my own decision alone.
Okay.
It is the decision of the party executive and all leaders of the party in Ogun State. Because we felt bad and we called an emergency meeting. After the very serious deliberation, we thought we have to expel him from the party because he has spoiled the name of our party.
It's all right. This is a man who has been with PDP for 16 years, who has also led the country as a president for 8 years.
OBASANJO is not a founding member of PDP. He was in prison by the time PDP was formulated. After coming out of prison, he was persuaded to come and vie for the position of the president, which he did and won. We have people that spend money and their time to make that reality, to make that dream becomes a reality. He is not part of those people that spend their money and time to make it happen. And for him to have the opportunity to be the president for 8 years, that is something, that is what he should value so much. But now that he did not value, he has given so much, to whom much is given, much is expected back from him.
What impact, really? Just a minute, Mr. Chairman. What impact do you foresee this having on the People's Democratic Party, especially now that it's coming few weeks to a major election that is being predicted to be a neck-to-neck? Hello, are you there, Mr. Chairman? I'm asking what impact this decision will have on your party when you have a major election.
It has no impact whatsoever. OBASANJO has never won his polling booth before. He has never won his ward. He has never won his local government of the party before. So, how come then can we be talking about what we are going to lose? We will lose nothing. We are going to gain a lot out of it. Because many people who have been running away because of the tactics will now run back to the party to say yes. This morning of people that are happy that at least we got rid of the bad egg that is in our party. It is, we are not going to lose anything, and I'm going to give members of the party, particularly at the national level, that we are going to get a better result because he is not no more with us.
It's all right. Adebayo Dayo is the PDP chairman, calling us, reaching us from Ogun State. Good this morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, my brother. Thanks ever so much.
It's all right. We're also waiting to get opinions and reactions from someone from Baba's camp on the show this morning, and I believe that will be coming up in a jiffy. But isn't this amazing? This is happening to People's Democratic Party. Would you say it's a plus for the party or a minus? Candidly, because I believe that he must have been speaking from the political point of view, that this will not take anything away from the People's Democratic Party.
I think that's the beauty of democracy. The beauty of the democracy. Nobody plays God in democracy. You need people. And like the chairman rightly said, some other persons have stayed away from the People's Democratic Party just because of his attitude and actions. It's an elder statesman, and it's unfortunate that it's coming up this way. That's somebody who was the driving seat of a political party for almost 11 years. He was the president for 8 years. And in between, he was chairman of the BOT. And then if it turns out this way, it tells you the caliber of persons that have been leading. And you know, today the opposition is happy. But unfortunately, the opposition know what they got from him and how they went to court in certain instances.
But he says that is retiring into non-partisanship. I mean, non-partisan politics.
I said the opposition is happy. Because, you see, those are the things that plays out in Nigerian politics. Bad belly. I tell you. And because of this, you find calibers of persons like this play out in this way. Because we don't have credibility quest. We don't have it. If we have credibility quest, some of us don't need to be on the public street at all. Not even talk. Because if we go back, it's unfortunate. He's my leader. He's my leader. But it's unfortunate. There are certain things you will see in the social network. It's there in the public domain that concerns him. You will be amazed.
In your opening remarks, you were trying to compare him with other former head of state.
Yes.
Would you also agree that none of the people you made mention
Yes.
had come out at any time to criticize the present-day administration
They do.
the former president
No,
did?
but in his own case, it's a peculiar case. General Gowon has come out many times. General Babangida, Absalam, you see them and they talk like elder statesmen. As a father, when you want to caution your children, there are a choice of words that is appreciable that you use. We're in a civilized environment. In a civilized environment. When you see a leader being very, very controversial and not following the norms of reality, you start wondering, how did they get to that point? There are a lot of things about him that we cannot say publicly. That's so odd. Lifestyle, love life, is odd. We're not saying that if you don't have a wife, but you know it, I know it, and they know it. The truth is there, but it's just that you cannot be saying everything just like that. There must be caution. You must caution. We are moving, and you do have to watch, because people are studying us. You put a legacy that will give us a bequeathing environment, not the kind of language you use to incite. And you know where we're coming from. The level of awareness is so low that you precipitate confusion. You know the consequences will be too grave. And that's what he's doing. It's unfortunate. If a layman like me will be thinking that this country belongs to all of us and we should build it, I cannot be getting it always. I cannot win always. For 8 years you were president, and before then, look, the question we keep asking, some of us from the other part of the divide, for 54 years of independence, a particular group has led this country for 38 years, and him alone, in that 38, they divided among persons, but him alone had first 3 and then the second 8, 11 years. And a lot of things are there. This is somebody who will have come out to appreciate what we are seeing today. Not only saying that we say huru for Nigeria.
Whatever your submissions are now, does it take anything away from the contribution that this man has made to national development?
But only that you will not take him serious again. Simple.
You think that you will not? There are other people who believe that what he's saying is timely and accurate at this time.
That's the beauty of democracy. I said so. We have our choice of words and we have our positions. But you always think that you make this country, make it good and leave it good. It's better than to destroy a country you build.
Just a minute, sir. Let me open the phone line so we can have contributions across the country, while we'll also wait to hear from another stakeholder in the Obasanjo's camp from Ogun State. But one of the reasons that the former president stated clearly for dumping the PDP at this time, it claims that he's quitting the party because its behavior and actions, that the party was bent on destroying the country. If that is true, wouldn't it be a right thing for such an elder statesman to do?
I ask the question. We all belong to clubs, and if you think they're taking the wrong action, why not go into it? When you go, you are a member of a board of trustees, you resign the chairmanship, you still a member, you go there and you start. Is it not? That's the essence of democracy. You converse and you sell your ideas, you win people. It's not going to the public fora to eliminate or to ridicule people. You go, you talk to people. It's just like you owe me, I owe you.
Before you wrote that public letter to Mr. President, you recall that he also made mention that he had tried at several times to communicate those information with Mr. President, but met with a deadlock.
Know the reaction from the presidency. He said he's fond of wanting to be in control. He wants to detect what goes on. He wants to give me this, give me that. You saw it.
But this time it's Mr. President's word against the former president. No. Who now do we have proofs? Do we have evidence?
Anybody who knows the terrain
to corroborate what they're saying.
Anybody who knows the terrain, you don't need to doubt. If you know the terrain, except you're an outsider. Like I told you, we've been insiders. I participated in the Obasanjo campaign organization in Ogonua House, Ikeja, by Mechanic Bus Stop, with Chief Onyema Ogochukwu as the chairman, Chris Mama as the vice chairman, who were the full soldiers. And we know what we got after he got the ticket for PDP. And that organization just went down.
Whose side are you on now?
I'm on the side of truth, Nigerians.
Let's
I'm
take
not a
this
party
call.
man, but a typical Nigerian who knows the truth about Nigeria.
Let me
we
quickly
know that
take
the
this call.
consequence, you see, the truth must be told. The consequence is all about oil business.
Just a minute, sir.
Oil
Hello, good
business.
morning. Welcome to Call Digest.
Hello.
You're welcome to Call Digest. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Benin. I am Samuel.
Samuel, how's Benin today?
Today is fine. And you?
I am terrific. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Please, the only thing I just want to say, that man is unfortunate. He's an elder statesman, but where he's going and how he's going about the country is not too good. Therefore, an elder statesman should not talk the way he's talking, should not behave the way he's behaving, and if he hates the incumbent president, the way to go about it, he will not say that man has done us good. He will not say that man has contributed a lot for the betterment of this country. So we should, some of us should even caution him. The way he talks and the way he behaves is not the best, not in the interest of this country. He wants to be.
It's all right, Samuel. I believe you made your point there from Benin. Thank you very much for your contribution. Another reason why the former president gave was accusing the presidency under President Goodluck Jonathan of politicizing every public institution, including the Nigerian military. I don't know if you had a particular audio clip that allegedly indicted some PDP stakeholders in the Ekiti state governorship election.
You see, the truth is this. Our politicians have to check their style and their language. They are pushing us to a very dangerous corner. Otherwise, if you are conversant with the Directorate of Military Intelligence, the Defense Headquarters, just check what they said about General OBASANJO. They least expect a general of a Nigerian army to be making that kind of comments he's making publicly. Yes, talk is cheap, but there are certain things you don't say, just cheaply. And when you're an elder statesman, even at my level, they call me Baba, I fight it. I say, call me uncle. Because when you're a Baba, there are certain things you're not supposed to be doing as a father. You have children, and you are inciting one against the other. What kind of father are you? These are the problems we have in Nigeria. And I'm seeing that even in the military, these are the people who are in the higher hierarchy.
No, you said you are on the side of the truth.
Yes.
I'm talking about the truth content of this claim.
Because
Because he made mention of politicizing, and I referred you to a particular audio clip in Ekiti that allegedly talked about the involvement of the Nigerian military in rigging a particular election.
What you just told me is this his own choice of word. It's his language, it's his perception. It's what he said. Is that true? That's nothing. And then you see somebody is not consistent with reality. Whatever he says, you don't take it seriously. So
let's take another call. Just a minute. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Welcome to Call Digest. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Alexander. I'm calling from Ishori here.
All right, please go ahead with your contribution, Alexandra.
I want to talk on the issue of former President OBASANJO sharing his PDP membership card.
Okay.
You see, OBASANJO, to the best of my knowledge, I'm not a politician. I don't belong to PDP. I don't belong to APC. But I'm just this liberal person who sit down and watch Nigeria move forward. I want to say this. OBASANJO has ruled this country for 8 years. And the things he could not accomplish for 8 years, a minority person, that is the person of Jonathan, I travel around for like 7 years. I've been on the road. I've seen a lot of development that have come up in the past 4 years. Now, this man is an old man, OBASANJO. He's not thinking like a baby. If he wants to be a father that he claimed to be, somebody who united Nigeria in the past. Because we have other generals like him too in Nigeria today. But some of them, they do consultations here and there. It does not necessarily mean he should be a politician. But let him come out clean. If you hate somebody, for instance, if you hate somebody because Jonathan said I was only going to do 4 years, but the people said no, you can't do 4 years.
Do more.
Jonathan does not have his own power to say, I want to become president again. He had made these consultations, north, east, west, south. Don't forget he belongs to a political party. this same Obasanjo have divided the party and is coming back in the open at this critical time when the politician is heated up, coming down openly to say PDP. I mean, this is a party that brought you out from the dungeon.
It's all right, Alex. I believe you made your point there from Lagos. Thank you for your contribution. But then, when you talk about someone saying he wants to do 4 years, so what is the place of integrity, of standing by your word as a leader?
First, I told you democracy has a beauty. Second, it's politics. If I aspire for an office and say I just want to do a term, and getting there, I said, if I cannot deliver, I don't know why that clip comes up as a documentary and the rest. He said, if I cannot deliver, I mean, I don't see why 100 years I won't be able to do it.
Has it been able to deliver?
Yeah,
Has it delivered in the past 4 years?
Oh my God, the last call I just told you, I don't know how we see things. One factor in determining if you should continue or go back is your performance indices.
But are you also aware that...
The first time in this country, I'm 60 years plus. I've not seen any government besides the war-torn era of Yakubu Gowon.
Are you also aware that there has never been...
Who are giving us what is called dividends of democracy? I come from the most remote area of Nigeria. Okay. Before, in those days, it took you 3-4 days to get to my village from Lagos. Today, I can do it in less than 7 hours. When you get to Benin, from Benin on your east-west road, straight you will get to Patani. From Patani, you are crisscrossing to Mbiama. You see, some of us are just playing foul. You live in Mushin, you school in Ijoro, and you're finally settled in Alagbado. You don't know what is called Nigeria. When you go out, you know. From Lokoja, we know what it takes to get to Abuja. Today, except we don't want to be realistic, I don't have to pay it for PDP to tell them the world what they have done. This is the first time we saw what is called resemblance, non-interference. We have the primaries of the parties. Nobody was cajoled or forced into any party. And most of the ministers that resigned, we all saw it there. They all lost their primaries.
Are you also aware that there has never been such an election that has been predicted to be neck-to-neck in the history of Nigeria's politics? How do we justify that?
Where is neck to neck? It's not media hype, my brother. Let's be honest. We go out.
But 2015, can you compare the political atmosphere in 2011 to 2015?
My friends in this media, the Southwest, they know how to hype it. Go down to the people, you'll hear the truth.
I say.
They'll tell you it's not what you see on the pages of newspaper. No, the people are there. The only thing they did was they denied people the PBCs. And that's where I think it's not even hidden fact. The leaders from the South, the Southern Nigerian leaders that will come out. Jika compromise. If I voted almost all elections. This time around, I don't have a PVC.
But then that shouldn't be an issue.
It should be.
Just yesterday, INEC says it has given more than 70% of PVCs, and they
the same INEC that told us before 14th that they were prepared for the election.
They had 67% there.
Meanwhile, only 48 million had gotten the PVC. Well over 20-something million still hanging.
Just a minute, sir. Let's get back to the people. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Call Digest. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ahmed from Kaduna.
All right, Ahmed, go ahead with your contribution, please. Go ahead. Ahmed, we're with you.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, brother. You are on. Can you go ahead with your contribution?
Okay. This man sitting behind you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I'm wondering why you're hesitating. Go ahead with the contribution.
Okay. I just want to make just a 2 points. Why this man sitting behind you saying that PDP has is because he's inside the PDP. And all the money sharing is because he's benefited in that PDP. That's why he doesn't know how many people are suffering in this country. If he knows, he will not sit down there and say this for people. Because I know from today, as I'm talking to you now, how many people are suffering. It in Nigeria today. It's very difficult. So you should say the truth. You should not come out over the camera and say to people that everything is okay, this one is okay. No. We are suffering. It's very well if we should advise the leader for the masses. Masses are suffering. We are dying in this country. Apart of that one, apart of the former head of state, President OBASANJO, you should remember the first campaign. You call him a Modopart thought. Today, when he got the card, people are complaining about him. Once people start abusing him, that is a Modopart thought. So you should reason for that.
It's all right. Thank you very much for your contribution from Kaduna. I know you want to react to that, but let's go to Lagos. Earlier, we showed you a new stand in Abuja, and let's find out what the pulse of Lagosians are on this particular issue. My producer, Emmanuel Ajayi, was out yesterday to find out what the initial reaction of the Lagos people were.
It's not coming as a surprise because Nigerian is expecting Obasanjo to behave that way. He's a man that is responsible bringing in Yaradua, eventually that brought in Jonathan. And since he knew their primary plan was not forthcoming. And when it's not forthcoming, definitely is disappointed.
If you're an elder, Yoruba used to say an adage. If an elder is in the market and the baby's child is turning one side or the other, the elder man should be able to, correct the baby. As an elder statesman, he should be able to, arrange the country, not telling that this one is good, this one is bad. We don't like it. That was what we expected from him. Not siding this side or siding, he should be neutral.
You can defend to anywhere you like. So nobody can hold you for anything. So everybody has his own human right now. Defending his own human right.
It's a matter of choice. You can decide to continue with the party and you can decide to quit the party.
To me, Obasanjo is not happy with the activities of this regime because of the way Jonathan shifted the election. So, and as a former president, I've been in office for years, and you know that all the things that is happening there. So, which means the inner caucus and the inner mind of a good luck that is not favoring this regime, and they don't want to hand over. So he want to win the election by all means, and which is very bad for Nigeria.
Well, we've been expecting him to do that. All his reaction, he has said it by word of mouth, by action. The other day he said his body language, he has spoken with the eyes, the ears, the nose. So whosoever can read that should interpret it. So he has not done anything different from what he has been saying.
The lesson for Nigeria is we should just depend on God. Because our former president, Obasanjo, is one of the backbones in PDP.
Obasanjo jumping PDP means that Obasanjo look for good things, and we need change in these countries. And making Obasanjo jump PDP is the one that is ruling before, and you know what he can do, and you know what is going on. Joining a PDP is not a bad. Dropping a PDP is not a bad thing in Obasanjo.
To me, dumping PDP shouldn't have been the issue, but coming out publicly to tear his membership card, that was the only wrong thing I thought he has done.
If you have been studying the man, Obasanjo, one will have been noticing his likely move towards the election. So what he has done is just a stamp on his opinion about this present government. So I don't think there is anything strange about that, as in something that Nigerians have been expecting from him.
I'm a Ghanaian. In Nigeria, politicians, they don't have one political party. They just, from one to A to B. When that place is not favoring them, they move to another party. So I'm not surprised how Obasanjo is dumping PDP.
It's a decision of his own. I think he's free to, just go by whatever decision he so desires. He's entitled to his opinion. There's no problem with that. I don't see anything wrong with that.
They say different strokes for different folks. Exactly what they feeling is like on the Lagos streets. That was yesterday as regards this new development. Well, I still have with me President GHOMORAI, and he's a public affairs analyst joining us on set this morning. Thank you very much for staying the course. But if the former president has been so bad, was with the PDP. He has been with the PDP for 16 years. He ruled as president for 8 years. He supported President Goodluck Jonathan to get back to office. Does it not also tell us that PDP has been so bad to have accommodated such a bad personality for that long?
But that's the dynamics of Nigerian politics. You see, we have our shortcomings. If he had been in the party was there before he came in and joined. I know he solely worked to get the ticket. And for 11 years thereabout, he's been in the driving seat of the party. And if you observe well, I don't want to join issues. If you look at most of the arrowheads in APC, they all moved from PDP. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Saraki, Amechi, Konkoso. Konkoso was even a minister, he was even a director, a board member in the NEDC board. Yes. You see, all of them moved to APC, and two things only they use. Forget it. For some of us common people who don't know much, we just stay there and then follow what they say. In terms of performance, give it to Goodluck. Yeah. All these people that moved allege that PDP is corrupt, it has failed. They served, some served 8 years governor, 8 years governors, 8 years speakership, and they all moved to APC. So who were the people that were bad in PDP? Then. And the people you have now were nobody in PDP then. Goodluck, President Goodluck was then the deputy governor when Obasanjo was in charge of PDP. He was deputy governor in Bayelsa. And we all know the status of deputy governors in Nigeria. More like a spare tire in the truck. So you see, the truth is this, which is very, very difficult for us to sell out. Because for somebody to pump in what they are doing in some parties, and they talk corruption, you say, asking, are they really serious? You're spending so much to win the people's heart, but nothing on ground to show for the people. Yet, the band that has performed, because, let's all tell the truth, because it's from the minority. So he must not have 4 years. And I see even the element of envy. Envy in the sense that I have served 8 years. It'll be difficult for anybody to come and beat my years. So he must go. Otherwise, he accord him the highest respect anybody does. And he calls him my father. You see, even when they went to visit him, he was lauded by the religious leaders from the Winners and the Redeemed Chapel. And they went to see him. He dodged. His body language was there, but yet the presidency tolerated. And then he went to attend the president's daughter's wedding. And you see the photograph there. It tells you of somebody being, it's unfortunate, but I don't want to use the word. It's not the best, because I respect elders, because I want to be.
Just a minute. We're joined now by the Director General of our Mosul Governorship Campaign Team in Ogun State, Chief Bode Mustafa, who also is a former member of the PDP in the state. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us today on Call Digest. Good morning, sir. Let's have your reaction to the drama that happened in Ogun State yesterday, where we saw the former president tear his PDP membership card. What are your thoughts along this line?
Well, I think they must have pushed Baba to that level. From the report I read in the papers today, that Baba got intelligence report that they were trying to humiliate him, to expel him from a party under which he served this country as president meritoriously for 8 years. I think that was the height of insolence, and it was the height of it all. And under such circumstances, what then does Baba need the party for, or any party for? Baba is an elder statesman. I mean, for Baba's name to be associated with their party then, it was a booster for their party, both locally and internationally. I mean, so and if they now think that they want to mess around with him, then he doesn't need them. He doesn't need any party. He doesn't need anything from anybody.
Given Baba's position in recent times against his party, against the president, would you have accommodated such personality in your own party?
No, what is that? Baba has gone past being talking about a party. To Baba, like he always claims, like he always says, and I understand him, Nigeria comes first. This is a man who fought a war to keep Nigeria together. And a person fought a war to keep the nation together. I am not a soldier, but we have seen the fallout of wars. And Baba says to him, first and foremost, Nigeria is more important. And if he sees things going wrong, especially having just left the saddle probably only 8 years ago, and he knows what he has done for this country, including debt relief, including laundering our image internationally, and all of this been wasted for nothing. He has to cry out.
I see.
Having opportunities indoors or in-house.
Okay. He also says that he's retiring now into non-partisan politics. Given his support to the APC presidential candidate, how exactly do you see this turning out?
No, he did not support, he endorsed.
Oh, endorsed. I beg your pardon. He endorsed.
Yes, there's a difference between endorsement and supporting.
I see.
He would, I mean, if he supports, he will go out to campaign for the candidate. He only endorsed him based on his knowledge of the APC candidate, presidential candidate. Don't forget, the APC presidential candidate was Minister of Petroleum Resources under President Obasanjo when President Obasanjo was head of state. So he knows him. President Obasanjo was the APC presidential candidate's commander-in-chief. So he knows him. He knows what he's capable of doing. That's why he endorsed him.
The PDP is saying that it will not miss the absence of the former president, that all the while it looks as if he has already pitched its tent with the opposition. How would you describe his electoral value really at this time?
Whether they will feel his absence or not. In Yoruba, they say, Kato kini kato yini oda boja. Whether they feel his absence or not, the elections are around the corner. They should just ensure, the PDP should just ensure that the elections hold. Then they will get their result sheets.
It's all right. Chief Bode Mustafa, Director General of Amosu Governorship Campaign Team, thank you very much for joining us today on Call Digest.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you also aware that they say that it has been reliably gathered that the PDP had the motive and the intention of suspending the former president before he took that dramatic action?
I think they allow it to stay too long even. Because if he was in charge and somebody that played the role he's playing...
Maybe they were considering the fallout of having him out of the party.
No, I just want... let me learn. If they allowed it to come this far, it shows the level of respect and regards they had for him. If Baba was in charge of any party and somebody played the games he's playing today, it would not only end up, they would dig into his past records. We know his antics. We know his... we know now. They will dig into and start investigating before you know it. Have you forgotten the EFCC saga where they just pick on you? Even I think we had to play some fast one, the broken leg to go abroad to get to avoid being arrested. We know this. We know what Alamesia, Derry, and the rest went through. Everybody was on the watch of. Once you are not towing the line of Baba, EFCC is very you. The man who was championing that cause is out of that party.
But he was doing all of that while he was a member of your party.
Not my PDP member.
I beg your pardon, you were talking, I was carried away. I thought you...
Don't be carried away. Come back. I'm not a PDP member.
The way you're talking, you're making me feel like you are a member of the PDP. But all this while, he was a member of the PDP, and you seem not to have supported the decisions he made at that time, even as a member.
I'm not a member of PDP. I worked for his organization campaign. I told you, after he got the ticket, we all were... See, the whole thing is all about... I appreciate the comments. You see, even the choice of word, Baba, we all know how opposition operates. The moment you are in the other camp, they don't have regards for your title or name or anything. They just bullshit you. Today, he's now being honored by APC. Good. But we all know what happened when he was the president and with the opposition, particularly from the southwest. He lost in his Iteko, in Totoro. He lost. He lost almost everywhere in the southwest. So today now he's been called Baba. It's good. We are learning and we are improving. We should appreciate people. I'm happy that the opposition is calling him Baba. But before now, we all know what they talk about him when he was standing by Yaradua, when he stood by Goodluck.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Call Digest.
Good morning. How are you?
Terrific. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, I'm Alhaji Ibrahim by name. I'm calling from Abuja.
Alhaji Ibrahim from Abuja. Go ahead with your contribution, please.
Yes, it's very interesting. I want to liken what is happening between Mr. President and his boss to what happened in the Garden of Eden between Adam and God. Everybody knows how much Obasanjo has, the efforts he has put in bring Jonathan out of Bayelsa into the villa. And he should be credited for that. And of course, he gave him commandments. And I want to see him obey that commandment. And what he has seen now is that the president is not obeying his commandments. And it was the same case with Adam. Adam refused to obey the commandment of the God who created him and put him in the Garden of Eden. And for that reason, he was chased out of the garden. And similarly, Obasanjo who fought hard to bring President Jonathan out of Bayelsa into the villa feels now that his boy is very arrogant and disobedient. And anybody who accuses Obasanjo for his decision will equally have accused God of the decision he took over Adam. And those who are clamoring today or accusing Obasanjo will not and will not have brought Jonathan out of Bayelsa into the villa.
It's all right. I believe you made your point there, Ibrahim. Do you think that the president owes the former president anything regards the contributions he made to him being president?
Before I answer that question, sometimes the way we talk, when the language of the last caller, well, appreciable, but let's respect people. Are people from Bayelsa slaves? Are they not equal Nigerians? So why was it now so peculiar that they brought him out of Bayelsa? Is Bayelsa... I bet him, whatever state he's come from, Bayelsa has been so changed by the ruling class. Yet, I think we'll be proud. I'm not from Bayelsa, but a place in Bayelsa, you showcase and you tell the world this is Bayelsa, you appreciate. The way he speaks, like people from Bayelsa are not supposed to be human beings. They're second class and third class citizens. It's unfortunate. We just talk with impunity. We just disregard people. If you hear me here, I never use hard word on Baba. But I said, at a point in time, somebody want to play God. And that's playing out. Somebody is God and somebody is Adam.
Do you think that President Goodluck Jonathan owes the former president anything?
As a president, he has his advisors and he has the itinerary. Just like Obasanjo had in his time. If Obasanjo is saying this, is it the same language the likes of General Gowon, General Abdulsalam, General Babangida, even Alhaji Shehu Shagari, is it the same language they use?
Just a
what
minute,
makes
sir.
him special?
Let's take this call from Adambra. Good morning, Tochukwu.
Yeah, good morning. This is me. Good morning over to your guest there.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead with the contribution.
Okay. Please, I want to correct an impression first. Those who are still using elder statesman for Obasanjo, or even Obasanjo himself, claiming to now be an elder statesman, I think those people should go back to school or even go and find out what an elder statesman is. Because as far as I'm concerned, a leader who has been surrounded with so much controversy is not supposed to be repeated that adjective. Because even the dictionary says that an elder statesman is no other person but an old respected politician whose advice is so valued. The underlying word there is still valued. You see, so for Obasanjo to even claim now that he's an elder statesman, I think he needs more lesson. He's not an elder statesman. Who in his right take all the controversies that are surrounded this country. Obasanjo has always been a recurrent decimal. So who in his right who says at an average Nigerian will go to Obasanjo for advice? So I just want to correct that impression. I'll leave my other comments maybe later. Thank you.
It's all right. Thank you very much, Tochukwu, for your contribution. We have to wrap up this segment now. Let us bring all of this down.
It's unfortunate.
Because we're counting down to a general election.
Comparing Obasanjo to God.
In a few weeks.
And that's what we said. He wants to play God.
Let's begin to look at the role of the electorate. Because we can be easily distracted by all of this drama.
Yes, the country is already polarized according to regions. And the sections. It's unfortunate. And I wouldn't want to say it, but I'll say it. I'm in the Southwest, and whatever glory I get in life, I dedicate to the Southwest where I got all. I schooled near his house in Abeokuta, and I know how we use his house. We get our water. Yamaha was the security man in that house. I was in the Royal Affairs there. You see, the truth is this. Let us appreciate that we have a country and we all love one another. Let's live as one. War situation never go well for anybody. We know what the Easterners went through. We in the middle, in the southwest, south, we know what we went through. We had that feelings up to already. The consequences of war is bitter. Let us not go back to it. And that's why the likes of Obasanjo just stay away. Stay away. They are hitting the polity over creating unnecessary tension, making people to toe lines that shouldn't have. Today, you see everybody's polarized. You see first they ask your name, where you come from. The next thing is they want to know your position. It's unfair.
Thank you very much.
This is one country that is the only hope of the black race in the world, Nigeria.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Call Digest. We also hope that subsequently you'll find time to join us.
Yeah, the distance, the distance. Nice thing, nice place.
President GHOMORAI is
GHOMORAI. Don't call my name.
GHOMORAI.
Yes.
I beg your pardon. Is my guest.
It's a native name.
President GHOMORAI.
No, GHOMORAI. Presidor is a Jaw word. Presidor. You see, they misplace everywhere. Nigerians. We learn other people. They should learn us.
Okay, let me take time to understand what does Presidor mean.
If any Jaw person listen, anybody who understands Jaw pre means child born with wealth. Say already is born with wealth. That's what they say. I have yet to find. I ask my dad every time before he passed on. I'm yet to see it. I'm 60 plus.
What about GHOMORAI?
GHOMORAI, children are your wealth.
Oh,
My great grandfather had so many children. When the smallpox era came in, sometimes they lose 9 a day.
I see.
So they now gave them that children are your wealth.
It sounds so foreign. One would have thought that that's Nigerian.
I don't want to reveal it. It's an Isoko word. GHOMORAI. Then the German with his Anglo-Saxon thing cut off the ego. And they say GHOMORAI.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show today. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with more on the show. Don't go away.
You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then news. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.